I used to think that life was all about trying as hard as you could to be a good person, to live a successful life, to pursue happiness. I used to think those things, but I don't think those things anymore. See, when I was 16 years old, I had an experience. I found myself in a hospital bed one afternoon, waiting for surgery on my hand. You see, 3 hours prior to that, I was in an uncontrollable state of rage. Rage was a big problem for me when I was younger. And as I was growing up, I'd always tried to be like a good person, right? And I thought that as far as my anger went, I thought I could control it. I thought if I just worked hard enough and gritted my teeth enough, that I could be a better person. That I could be the sort of person who doesn't lose his temper all the time and get angry at people or start fights or whatever it might be. I thought that I could be the sort of person who would not do the sort of thing that I did that day. But despite my best efforts, despite how hard I tried, earlier that day, in that fit of rage, I saw this tree, right? You're gonna laugh at this. I saw this tree right there and I just walked up to it and I punched it as hard as I could. I was angry. And so in that hospital bed that afternoon, as I'm waiting for surgery, I'm looking up at the ceiling of this hospital and I'm taking a mental catalogue of my life. And I'm thinking to myself, how did I get here? What things that I did led me to be in this hospital bed this afternoon? And I thought back over my journey. I tried so hard to pursue happiness. I'd looked for happiness in all sorts of places. But I was miserable that afternoon. And I tried so hard in my life to be a good person. But I wasn't a good person that afternoon. And so I thought to myself, hey, is there anything else that I can try from here on in to improve, to be better? But I had to admit that there was only one thing that I could really think of that I hadn't already tried. And that was God. When you're in a desperate situation, you do pretty desperate things. I was desperate that afternoon, and so I just had a conversation with God, very brief, and I just simply said to him, hey God, can you please fix me? Can you please fix me? That was the day that I realized that life is not about trying as hard as you can to be a good person, to find happiness, to be successful. That was the day that I realized that it's all about faith. Faith is, another word for faith is trust, right? Faith is when you trust God with your whole life and you let him make you a good person. You let him make you successful. You let him bring you deep happiness and peace. That day started an incredible faith journey for me that is still going to this day. Today I don't try, most of the time anyway, I don't try to make myself a good person. I don't try to make my life successful in my own right. And I've given up on pursuing happiness aside from God. Instead, I'm just kind of trusting God on the journey. I'm putting my faith in him, not in myself. And so far, it's working out pretty well. And so I guess what I'm saying is that your life is like piloting a plane. A beautiful plane. And when faith comes in is when you say to God, hey God, I reckon you're going to be a way better pilot than I could have ever been. I want to give you, God, the pilot's seat. Can you jump in the pilot's seat? Can you take over? Can you send this plane in your direction? And I'm going to be up back there somewhere, just enjoying the ride. And so I wonder about you. Have you given God the pilot's seat in your life yet? Have you experienced how awesome it is to trust God with everything? If you haven't done that yet, I reckon you should give it a go. It's going to be